Thank you, Ratna. Very good evening, everyone. Today is a very special day. Of course, all of you are here today. It is also the anniversary of one of the award winners today, Mr. Khalid and Aisha, who's here from Lucknow. Can I have a big round of applause for them, please? Congratulations. So, let me start with the correction. You'll see the word Founders Forum on screens around you and all the banners and all. But today really is an unlisted Founders Forum. And we'll keep it that way. And I'll tell you why we wanted to make it unlisted Founders Forum. Because Listed India gets a lot of cameras. Listed India gets analyst calls. They get magazine cars. But in many ways, unlisted companies are real engines of the country. The family businesses, manufacturers, regional champions, quietly enormous companies most people have never heard of. That is unlisted India. And unlisted India does not really have a forum of its own, and the whole attempt at launching the JM Financial India Founders Forum is to celebrate the story of unlisted India. And that's why we're here today. So we built this evening around a simple idea: celebrate the founders of unlisted India and give them one night a year where they can speak openly and honestly and rawly to each other. And the kind of conversation that usually only happens at dinner and after cameras are off. Maybe it starts with an evening, maybe we'll do a day-long event later, but today is a good start. And let me tell you why we're doing this now. So we are at a very liminal moment as a country. The old India is still here, the new India is still arriving, and we are all sort of in between. It's uncomfortable, it's uncertain, and it is also, if we can see it clearly, the single greatest opportunity any generation of Indian entrepreneurs have ever inherited. Let me explain from my standpoint what liminal means, because it's not just a poetic words. We all have, I'm sure, watched the movie Three Idiots, where Rancho keeps saying all is well, but notice when he says it when the heart is racing just before the exam or one of his friends is in danger. He says it precisely in the in-between where you have left certainty, but you have not yet arrived at the answer. And this is liminality. It is the doorway, not the room. The caterpillar is no longer a caterpillar, but it's not yet a butterfly. You cannot go back, and you cannot really see forward as well. And all is well, that is the bravest thing a founder can say inside it. Here is what every culture across history has understood about the state. Liminal moments are dangerous and they're sacred. Dangerous because the old rules no longer apply and the new rules have not been written. Sacred because for a brief window, everything is possible. Now look at India today. The old India of licenses and permissions, of scarcity and queues, or waiting over years on telephone, that's all in here, in our memory, in our institution, in the reflex of an entire generation. The new India, which is digital, ambitious, global, the third largest economy in the making, that India is arriving, but it has not fully arrived. And we are not the country we were, and we are not yet the country we will be. And we are in the cocoon, and that is exactly the great Indian liminality. In stable times, the future belongs to incumbents. The rules are set. The playing field is mapped. The capital flows to whoever already has a scale. In stable times, the founder fights uphill against gravity. But in liminal times, the rules themselves are up for grabs. Look at what is moving all at once, a demographic shift unlike anything we have seen. But look at India, a consumer class crossing into middle, then into affluence, and in tens of millions every year. Capital flows are organizing as the world looks for an alternative to China. A manufacturing base in India which is rebuilding itself in real time. A health and wellness market exploding into existence. And on top of all this, AI rewriting how every one of these categories are getting built. Now, who defines healthcare? Who defines Indian finance? Who defines Indian manufacturing? Who defines Indian media? And who defines Indian AI? None of these are settled, and open questions are the raw material of the very great founding story. Let me give you some numbers. We're researchers, we got some numbers. When India's GDP went from $2 trillion to $4 trillion, the number of US dollar billionaires that Hurun India has tracked has gone from about 52 to 320. During this time, the personal income tax collection nearly quadrupled, and middle class roughly doubled. The whole shape of Indian wealth creation sort of got rewritten in a single decade. And here is what is even more fascinating. People say India is going to double GDP in the next 10 years. If that happens, that is adding one full India to the current India in the next 10 years. And this is just phenomenal. And there has never been a more exciting time to build in this country. Not in 91, not in 2000, not in 2014, but right now. And let's make this concrete. At Hurun, we've spent 14 years trying to track the wealth creators of the country. We've been tracking about 10,000 of them every year. And there is one pattern that is held across every list, every cycle, and every sector. It is this. The largest fortune in India have not been made by people who waited for clarity. They've been made by people who moved while this country was still in between, the liminality phase. Let me just speak about some of the speakers who are here today and try to connect with what I'm trying to say. For example, we've got Dr. Krishna Ella here. He moved in between when Indian biotech was a phrase nobody believed in. He built Bharat Biotech and gave the world Covaxin. Or Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani, one of the entrepreneurs who I really love. When Mumbai's skyline was still flat, the idea of Indian township scale real estate was untested. He built Powai. Or Mr. Chandubhai Virani, thanks for coming, sir, again today. When a packet of Indian wafers was competing with Indian global FMCG was unthinkable, he built Balaji from a canteen in Rajkot into a household name. Or be it the case of my friend Darshit Mane ji. When organized private dairy in India was synonymous with cooperatives, he built Sonai out of Indapur into one of India's largest private dairies. 5 million liters of milk every day from one farmer who refused to accept the status quo. Or be it Darshak Bhai of Madhusilica. Today morning, if any of, I'm sure all of us have brushed our teeth, but the silica doing the cleaning has likely come from his plant in Bhavnagar. So Madhusilica is India's largest precipitated silica manufacturer, 6th largest in the world, and most of us use his product every day and have never heard his name. And that is also what the liminality looks like. So every single founder in this room has written their own rules. That is the only reason why you're sitting here tonight. So can I ask the room for a big round of applause for everyone who's here? So at this juncture, I really would like to thank our partners, JM Financial, and none of this would have happened without them. When we set out to celebrate India's unlisted economy in gems, we asked ourselves, who's the right partner for this? We all unanimously thought it's JM Financial. For over 5 decades, JM Financials has taken the unlisted founder seriously, the founder before the listing, the family business navigating succession, the promoter on the factory floor. JM Financial has been there for all of it. When JM Financial said yes to this forum, it was not just a partnership, it was a recognition that the story of unlisted India deserves a stage of its own. Thank you, Vishal. Thank you, JM Financial. So, to every founder we recognize tonight, congratulations. You built something real on your own terms. You are unlisted India. You are the engine, and tonight is yours. Nobody here waited for the cocoon to open. Nobody waited for the rules to settle. Nobody waited for a Delhi or a Davos or a Silicon Valley to tell us India has arrived. We're already here. The great Indian liminality is the opportunity. Thank you, and welcome you all to the first edition of JM Financial Hurun India Founders Forum and Awards. Thank you.